Poetic in parts, stream of consciousness in others, Kama Sutra by Rajendar Menen is a journey into the murky urban underbelly of the streets and alleys of India. It tells the stories of those who live on the street, a cast of characters that includes sex workers, bar girls, hijras, Devadasis, drug addicts, runaways, migrants, hustlers, the homeless, the dying, and the abandoned. Yes, I too had to look up some of those words, and they are now forever in my search history. It's an interesting book and took me to a place that I've never read about, so it was good to learn some new things and have my eyes opened to this part of the world. Given the subject matter, it's pretty heavy reading in places, and the offhand way in which some of it's delivered took me aback a couple of times. An example of this was part of the story of a girl named Tara. Menen reports, Tara was gang raped several times, had repeated abortions and several venereal diseases long before she turned 18, and finally found deliverance in a brothel she was sold to by her own family with the help of an agent. It just breaks your heart to read and picture these kids in these situations. Other parts give you a mixture of emotions. For example, when talking about eunuchs, I physically grimaced when reading of how the eunuch operations are done. But I also liked how there's a whole multi-day ritual that goes along with it to mark and honour the transition. I thought that was pretty cool. Where the book lost me, though, is that at times it's nonsensical. Here's a passage that well illustrates this. The guest house, a doddering apartment built by the British ages ago, always seems to eavesdrop with an inordinate longing on the opulence of the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel opposite, as though, like a blockbuster Hindi film script, they had been siblings separated at birth and one had lost out on all the crockery. Or, when describing the way a pimp talked, he says that the guy drags every word with a wheelbarrow. Like, what does that even mean? Then at other times, a sentence that should be simple ends up full of seemingly random words. When she walked into the lobby of a good-looking hotel, every male eye zeroed in on her like trichologists in a super specialty clinic looking for dandruff on a piece of chalk. That kind of verbosity got annoying after a while, and I just kept thinking, get to the point. I also wish that throughout the book we heard more from the sex workers themselves in their own words, rather than just reading Menen's notes about them. We end up seeing them through the lens of Menen, the author, when I think it would have been more impactful to have them tell their own stories. I feel like a stronger connection could be made, rather than working through a once-removed filter. That said though, I did really like how Menen didn't pass judgment on the people he met with. He treated them all as humans and with dignity. It's a messy book, but certainly has some good stuff in there. Frustratingly, it has no real strong conclusion. It just suddenly finishes. He's recounting a story of a health worker. The story ends with a quote from her, and that's the end of the book. There was no summary or final thoughts. It goes straight from there to an About the Author page. I was hoping there'd be some kind of wrap-up or final words or thoughts, but no, he just ejects from the book. Overall, it was a maddening read. Some really good content is in there, but you have to wade through a fog of loquaciousness to access it.